Hey everybody, Regan Hagstead here, Mortgage Success Blueprint, and today I want to talk about step 3 in my 6-step origination guide, okay? And step 3 is after you've got the application and the documents in, and you're starting to do the strategy and planning, okay? And I don't mean with the client, I mean this is what you're doing now that I've got all my info and I've looked at everything. I'm setting up some scenarios for them to review. The first thing is you gotta block out uninterrupted time. Like literally you can't be doing this while you're also on a phone call or while you're eating dinner or on your phone. You wanna be doing this where you're totally focused on their programs and their strategies. And the reason I say that is when you do that, you're gonna give your best advice. And the last thing you wanna do is send out some scenarios to a client that you kinda halfway did and you maybe missed something, because maybe that one thing you missed is what they really wanted, okay? And so block out uninterrupted time to create these and think of it from their standpoint. Given all that you know about this client, what are they telling you? What options could I look at that are not just plain vanilla 30-year fixed, no points, okay? Every scenario I work up, if a client says, I'm looking to buy in this price range, of course I set it up there, but I always do a couple other things. I always include a scenario with a little bit lower price point. I always include a scenario with a little bit higher price point. I also look at what their down payment is. Maybe they said they want to do 20% down. I always work up an option with like 15 or 10%, okay? And why do I do that? Because now I'm not limiting them on what houses they can look at, right? Maybe they find a house that's a little bit cheaper, but with 10% down, it's a fixer and they'd have the cash to do it. If all I did was give them a 20% down, 30-year fixed, no points, they're not even looking at that property. See, you want to enable and help your clients buy a house that they may not even have thought of before, okay? The other thing you have to do, unquestionably, is includes an option with points, and you also have to include at least one ARM or a creative product, okay? And the reason I say that is it's just food for thought. Sometimes things are for illustration. You know, like I worked up one the other day trying to show a rate under 4%. And it was like $17,000 in cost to save them like $300. Like there's no way the break even makes sense, okay? But what I wanted to establish with that is it's just illustration. I'm never gonna advise somebody to do that. I wanna point out though that in order to get the rate that low and that payment, here's the downside. Because a lot of times clients really don't get it. Or they see a cleverly disguised ad online that said interest rates are this and it doesn't tell them all the details. They just think that's what it is, and if you're higher, well, we don't like that guy anymore, right? You're showing them these things up front to kind of combat any of those things they may read that are not necessarily accurate. And so you want to put those things on paper and send them out to your clients at this stage. And I know I've heard people say, well, I don't want to quote rates right now because they're not in contract. No, like you have to have the rate conversation at this point in time. You have to present them accurate options. Because here's the thing, you should never be afraid of the rate conversation because you're adding so much value. The only time people don't want to talk rates is when they know they have no value to add and they're not really doing anything for their client. If you know that you're going to do an awesome job, you know that you're taking care of them, you know that you're looking at all the different scenarios, have the rate conversation now. Get it out of the way. Let them ask you questions on rates, because guess what? If you wait until they're in contract, they already have like this heightened sense of stress just because they're buying a house. You lay this on them, it might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Let's do it now. Let's have this right away. And let's also be able to unemotionally and in a stress-free place answer their questions, okay? So when you take these things that I just went over at this strategy and planning stage and you implement them, I can guarantee you're gonna have a higher conversion rate and you're gonna have less people calling you last minute asking you about what they saw online or this or that or the other thing, because you've already addressed it. I hope you guys enjoyed something from this. I hope you take something away and can apply it. Feel free to like, comment, share, forward out to your friends and coworkers, and I'll see you guys back next time.